Hi, it's Penny Black and Jill Foster here for your next pb&j card class. And today I'll be featuring a technique using our creative dies, and I'll call this a dimensional watercolor. And here's a look at the card that we'll be making today. And the die that this uses is 51-118 Playful Posies by Penny Black. And to begin, I went ahead and cut this die 4 times from watercolor paper. And what I want to do is I want to glue all of these together to create a lot of dimension on my card, which will make it easier to do the painting and to stay in the line, so to speak. So once I cut them, I'm using a zig glue pen just to apply adhesive to all the small little pieces like the stems, and then also to all of the buds and the flowers. And then I'll just take the next one, and this is really easy because they're die cut, they're all exactly the same. I'll just line it up and lay it on top and make sure that it all sticks together. And then what I'll do is I'll repeat this process for the other 2 remaining dies and just keep gluing them one on top of the other. So once that's done, you can really see the great dimension that you get. It's almost like a faux sort of chipboard look. So I'm working now on the back, and I'm applying another layer of glue, and this is what I'm going to use to glue this down onto my next piece of paper, which will be watercolor paper again. And the paper I'm using is Canson 140-pound watercolor paper. So I'm just getting that adhesive. I want to be sure that it's on there really strong because I will be adding water to this piece. So I'm sticking that down onto my other watercolor panel. And then I'll just turn that over and trim those stems from the back that kind of are hanging over the edge of the card. So now I'm ready to do my painting. Today I'm using Dr. Paige Martin's Hydrus Fine watercolors, and I'm just going to create a palette of these colors, and I've listed all the exact names at the end of the video in the supply list. And I like to just put this on an acrylic block for a palette. Then I can mix these colors together to create different shades that I like, and it's just handy as I'm painting. And I chose these particular watercolors today because they're very bold and vibrant, and so I wanted that look for these flowers. And then I'll also be using just plain water and then a watercolor paintbrush to do my painting. So I'm going to start by putting just a pretty good layer of water here onto the flower. Then I'm going to pick up my lighter color and drop that in and literally just tap my brush onto the die cut piece, move into the orange and pat that as well, and then the darker color down at the bottom. Then I'll go back with more water and pat that where the colors meet and allow them to mix and blend. Now, because this die cut piece has been stacked, it's really easy to stay, like I said, in the lines or just stay right on the die cut and not go onto the background because you have that lift or that dimension with the die cut. And the look when you do this is really fun. It almost looks kind of sculptural, like it's sculptured onto that background piece of cardstock or watercolor paper. So I continued that same process for all of the flowers and then the stems as well. And those I just painted a basic green. I didn't do a lot of shading. And now I'm ready to do the background. So I'm putting on a pretty thick layer of water right up to the edge of those die cut pieces. And again, that's really easy to do because they're stacked so high. And then I'm dropping in the blue color for the sky and then blending it out with more water. So you can see once you drop that in, it just naturally blends out where you've applied the water, and you can go back and pick up more water to blend it even more. And I'll just work my way around the flowers. I go about 80% of the way down towards the ground, and then I'll leave that and go in and paint that in the same manner, but using greens and yellows. And you can see if you keep working while it's wet, if you have any hard edges that aren't fading out the way that you'd like, you can always go in with more water and blend them. So once that was done, I did add a little bit of a distress marker in the color of black soot just to the center of that one flower over on the right and to add a few splatters to the background. And then I dried that, and now I'm taking Ranger Archival ink in the color of Tree Branch. You could use distress inks, whatever you have on hand. And I'm just distressing the edges around the watercolor background. And then I will pat that a little bit on top of the die cut pieces as well, just to give them sort of an aged look as well. To finish off the card, I just added a stamped butterfly and some twine and mounted it to more watercolor paper and a white note card. And then I wanted to show you another card that uses the same technique, only this is more of an intricate die where the inner portion of the flower is open, so you can paint down into the inside of the flower, and it's really a fun look as well. If you enjoyed today's video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. You can also follow Penny Black on Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter, as well as our website and our blog. And here's a list of all the supplies used.